In this video, I'm going to be talking about Mirage, specifically what people don't like about her. Now, Mirage is a fantastic Warframe. Being one of the best weapon platforming Warframes in the game, it's hard to see anybody actually hating her, but it does happen. And it's not because she's bad or weak or anything like that. She has a few problems that people don't like, but from what I've noticed, most of the hate seems to come from a past reputation and then nuking experiences. Now, Mirage has this one problem with her base kit that people don't like that I'll start off with first. It's her survivability. Now, her survivability isn't actually that bad. If you tap Eclipse, you get 90% damage reduction. Depending on your strength, it could be higher, it could be lower. And then if you tap Hall of Mirrors, these clones of yours will take aggro from you. So essentially, so long as you have both of these out, you can stand in a crowded room for the most part and you'll be just fine. Of course, since it is drawing aggro, there is always a chance that you will be hit by bullets. AoE attacks can still hit you, and gas will still shred you. But for the most part, if you're not standing still like an idiot and you are actively running around and playing the game, Mirage will have pretty decent survivability and will be fine to go through the entire game with no problem. Though she will suffer on enemies like Archons and rooms with a bunch of Xmas or on a boss like the Evervon tank. All of this stuff where they have a lot of AoEs and a lot of status effects and stuff going around, they will mess you up for sure. And that is because her base health, shields, and armor are incredibly squishy, which means that outside of Hall of Mirrors and the base damage reduction, she'll need to rely heavily on shield gating. And that is something people don't like. If your frame doesn't come with a way to become immortal, they have a problem with it. Now, the past reputation. This isn't actually a big deal anymore. As I mentioned, it is a past reputation. This is something that has been fixed. Eclipse used to rely heavily on light and shadow. This is gone. Now it's just tap and hold. You no longer have the inconsistency of the effects not being activated whether you're in light or shadow. You no longer have any of that. Just tap it for damage reduction and hold it for damage increase to your weapons. It's very simple. It's been completely fixed. There's no reason to hate on Eclipse anymore. At least not for that reason. Next is something I actually found to be pretty funny. On the Warframe forums, I've found more than a few people asking for Mirage to be banned from things like ESO. And the reason for that is because Mirage is heavily used for focus farming, because one of her lower to mid-level nuking builds, which relies solely on sleight of hands, augment mod, Explosive Legerdemain, pretty much just outright wipes the board, meaning players can't really do anything in ESO, they can't test out their builds, weapons, none of that. It's just completely gone. This is an incredibly useful build for focus farming, relic farming, all that stuff, anything that's lower to mid tier. This does fall off heavily in Steel Path and later gameplay, but low to mid tier nuking, this is amazing. Now, when people go Mirage and head into ESO, players can't do anything. They can't test out the weapons, they can't have as much fun as a player. They're essentially just being bussed around by Mirage, and it doesn't seem like they like it. Now, there's nothing they can do about this. They can try to switch the region or go into recruitment tab, recruit somebody, all that stuff. But the honest truth here is that banning Mirage won't fix this problem, because then they'll just head to a better or just a different nuking frame. There's 1,000 of them. But regardless, it seems that nuking is a problem. People don't like when they can't play the game. This is true for any nuking frame. It just so happens that Mirage seems to be getting a bit more hate for it than I had ever initially thought she would, considering this is low to mid tier nuking at best. And then finally, the very last thing I'm going to focus on is simply the fact that she is extremely weapon dependent. Now, naturally, she is a weapon platforming frame. She boosts weapon damage. This is nothing new. But the thing is, she doesn't turn a bad weapon good. She makes it okay. You can use it for sure. She mainly makes good weapons amazing. The distinction in that is incredibly important, because let's say you have a weapon that you just didn't build properly, a weapon that just sucks, whatever the case. Even if you put on Eclipse, even if you put on Hall of Mirrors, you will not be doing enough damage to be killing these enemies for the most part. Sure, you could whittle their health down, but it won't be enough to say you're truly doing a lot of damage with these weapons. However, let's say you take a weapon that you did build properly, a weapon that is built right and proper and is a pretty decent weapon. Well, then she'll turn that weapon into a straight up powerhouse. That weapon will be able to deal insane amounts of damage, getting easily into the millions. So for Mirage, you need a good weapon because a bad weapon just doesn't work for her. And her abilities, unless you're in low to mid tier level enemies, don't nuke anything. She has limited crowd control, which does attribute to her survivability, but it is nothing like Korra, so crowd control is out when it comes to that. It's mostly just stunning them for a second or two. So her weapons are basically her main form of damage, 100%, so you need good weapons. The main thing most people would do with a Mirage, the main synergy, is naturally just to whip out a AoE weapon of any kind and just blast the enemies. Because of the clones, there's going to be 4 times as many explosions, there's going to be 4 times as many status effects, there's going to be just a lot more everything. This causes a problem with visual cues for other players. It's stuff they don't like, all the visual clutter, and if you run a bright energy color, it's going to be extremely annoying for other players. But it is undoubtedly the best way to run a Mirage. A AoE weapon will do you wonders on a Mirage build instead of a single point fire weapon. And with that being said, that's pretty much just about it. Let me know what you think about Mirage, whether you love her, hate her, indifferent to her, and if there's anything you hate about her that I failed to mention. And with that being said, until next time.